Greek fella I bought it from was called Arthur Maris. And he was in Playland, I believe, when it opened in 1927. And he was there all these many years. He had a Greek accountant that also served my father-in-law when he was in the wholesale pie business. He told me, he said, John, there's an amusement park in Rye, New York, Playland's called. If you're interested, I'll take you up there. You can meet the fellow. He wants to get out. He's been there since 1927. I said, yeah, I'm interested. I met him in the wintertime in 1952. Cold and drizzly. I looked at his receipts in Playland, and when I saw those receipts, I said, sure, anytime you want to sell, I'll buy. And that's how I got into Playland. Years ago, in this country, there were a lot of Germans and whatever, Greeks and other nationals making their own candy in their own little shops. But those days, the fudge and chocolates were done by hand, and candy apples done, and caramel apples were done by hand. And we still do it, but there are very, very few candy makers available to do this work. When I first started here, I could get candy makers to do the work for me because I was busy. But gradually, the profession just seemed to fizzle and fade away.
Companies like Hershey and such, they were the ones who took over a big part of the industry. Finding candy makers who could hand dip chocolates, like some of his relatives still on the Jersey Shore, or even as you go south on the shore, down further from Jersey, you'll find them. But it's definitely a dying art.
But they're still around, but very, very few. Training is not that easy. The candy apples, I can train you to make candy apples, but different flavors of fudges takes a little time. And you learn by watching day in and day out and day in and day out.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But being here in Playland, short season like this, it's
instrument making in North America and in Europe, the level of instrument making is very high, extremely high these days. 90–95% of my calls are from people that I met someplace or know someone that I met, and so it's a very personal contact thing. It's not like having a car dealership or selling televisions where you take an ad in the newspaper and the biggest, glitziest ad gets you the attention. It's still a very personal contact type of business. And it's a business where we don't sell to our neighbors. We're selling all across the country or international, actually. Way back, I think this is like 13, 14 years ago, I was looking for an office space, looked in the county newspaper back then, and just simply saw, looking in the commercial space available section, and there was office in Rye, and made a phone call, came and looked at it, here it was, yes, took it. There really wasn't any thinking beyond that. Rye turns out to be a little bit unusual for what I do, certainly. There are very few string players in Rye, even though there was, who passed away 3 or 4 years ago, one of the greatest violinists of the 20th century, Oskar Shumsky, lived here. But for the most part, Rye is not populated by musicians. Aside from that, Rye works out to be, for me, very good, because my clients will travel. And this is true of all violin people. They'll travel to wherever they want to go. Westchester, Rockland, up in the Fairfield, down into Manhattan, let people come up, which again Rye is good for because I'm right where, you know, a couple of highways intersect, right on a train line, so it makes it easy from that perspective. I love telling the people, you know, it's a 35-minute ride from Manhattan, and then a 5-minute walk down a very pleasant street. So the people from Manhattan don't mind that in the least. It's a nice town to come to. When people get here, they kind of like being here. They like walking around down the sidewalk. So I kind of like being in Rye. It's a bit of a commute for me to get here every morning, but I like being here.
The most dramatic change has been from the little mom and pop businesses to the corporate chains. If you had told me 30 years ago that half to 2/3 of the stores on Purchase Street would all be big corporations, you would have laughed at you. But that's the way it is now. Dad used to call us a dying breed. Yeah, we're hanging on. To be honest, it gets a little harder every year, but we're still here. The building is owned by a corporation called Two Elm Place, and it's managed by a man by the name of Tim Wall, who is probably one of the nicest guys in Rye. Because if he wasn't, we would have been gone a long time ago. The key factor is how long Mom wants to keep going, because the store wouldn't be the same without her. You know, so when she wants to pack it in, then we'll see what happens at that point. She's like my father. My father, God rest his soul, was here right on the day he died. He was here. He had to come down. It was a Friday. He wasn't feeling that good, but he had to come down for Friday afternoon because that's when all the kids come in to get their allowances, and that's when all the kids come in to get the candies for the weekend. And he had to be here for the kids. He went home. He went home right after the kids left. Went to the hospital. Wound up having to go to the hospital. He died a few hours later. But as I say, he had to be here for the kids. I don't want to overemphasize it, but it's like we're kind of, my mother and father were like kind of like aunt and uncles to all the kids as they were growing up. There were some kids that we called my mother and father Mom and Dad, or Uncle Tony and Aunt Peg. There's one guy, he's now so big he almost has to stoop to get through that door. He still calls Mom, Mom, and he calls me his little brother. If you look on the wall here, you see a lot of pictures of a lot of kids all through the years. And then if you look on the pictures up there, a lot of those kids up there are the children of these kids over here.
See you guys.
Bye, Tom.
Thank you.
Take care.
Including my niece and nephew.
Right, including his niece and nephew. This is his brother. This is his brother Mark, which we call Dookie to this day. And his kids are up here on the wall over here. Yeah, well, we get kids, kids grow up, they have their own kids. And, one of the traditions is they got to bring them in for Mom to hold them. When they're small kids, and then she will give them like their first candy.
What do we need, sweetheart?
A lollipop.
Okay, what color?
And red.
Okay. Very good. Can I have my kiss?
We're switching colors, yeah?
All right.
Open it.
Say thank you.
Annie, say bye. Thank you.
I found a gift for you.
Oh, okay, Audrey.
Okay. See ya.
I like it a little bit loose.
2 weeks.
2 more? It'll still be a little bit loose?
Hold the watch. Got it?
Yeah.
Let me see you, Paul. Okay?
Perfect. That's perfect how that fits now.
Shorten yours.
Yeah, it was too big for me. Thank you very much.
Okay. That's a job. It's not easy to take them out.
I can imagine. I have a small wrist, so.
It's a hanger. If you
So
Thank
get
you.
fit, that's all.
Yeah, thank you.
He writes on the outside what's inside.
Put this one back.
This is 77.
Too big.
Too big? 75?
6.
75? No, I gave you 76. 75. Measure the tick-tock.
Every day I get different kind, you know. Some Russia or some Czechoslovakia and
Ah,
open the door there.
these are all your secrets that you shouldn't be shown to everyone.
A lot of times the watchmaker come in, they're stuck. They have trouble with the watch or clock, you know. So I help them out, you know. And there's always
Well,
somebody.
they know you always have the spare part.
We do all kinds of Mickey Mouses, you know. We do even cuckoo clocks, you know. We have to do, you know, little cuckoo, you know. Woman nobody wanna touch it, you know. I said, bring it in, what I care, you know, what I work on.
You could be anything in this country. Doesn't matter what you are, and whatever color you are. As long as you focus on something, you could be anything you want to be in this country. Just get an education and look, you know, be aggressive. I mean, be forward. Right? Don't be too timid or too shy. Because you never get nowhere when you act like that. Right? You gotta be, you know, forceful at times. My friend called me and saying that the guy that you won't see in Rye, a shoemaker friend of mine, he had known that he passed away, And they came to sell the store. Nobody was buying the store. The store was put into the landlord's lawyer. So the lawyer says, all right, make me an offer. Because I was offered $5,000 for the store, he says. I'll give you $5,500. So I came up $500 more. Yeah, so I figured for $5,500 it was worth it. Because all the machines that I had in there, and the way it was fixed up, the lights, and it was a nice area, and they had rugs on the store. It was nice. It had a nice setup. Worst comes to worst, I take the machines and that's it. So with that, I was there and I said to myself, I was working a couple of weeks, I'm saying, what the hell did I do? I wasn't making like $300 a week, just hanging out, reading books, falling asleep in the place. I said, I ain't doing no business here. Before you know it, it started to come around. And before you know it, I got jammed with so much work, forget about it. From 3 o'clock in the morning till 6 at night, and I had so much work. Then I was doing work for another shoemaker. I was taking work from him, another guy, because he had so much work too. But after about maybe 3 or 4 years, somebody offered me $75,000 for the store. I was going to sell it. I only paid $5,500. But he seen the business I was doing. I said, nah, I didn't really want to sell the place. I said, I like it here. I'm not thinking what was going to happen. The store in the front burned down. It was one of those flaky fires, you know what I mean? The insurance job, because I found out. I didn't get no damage, but I got all the electricity had to be cut off. Then I had to put my own electricity up. First I got a generator, but the generator didn't work. It wasn't enough for a generator to run the whole place, the air condition, the machines and everything. Then I had to put an electric pole up, which cost me a lot of money, run the wires and everything. I was under the impression my landlord was going to rebuild, and he was going to leave my store alone. But he didn't say nothing. He had intentions of knocking everything down and making one big building, which he did. Now, you want to tell me? Why don't you tell me that you're going to do this? I would never invested this money. I would have just packed up and left. I got screwed over there. If I had sold the store, I would have been ahead. And who knew about the shoes, that they were coming out with all these throwaway shoes. Just that alone, I would have got rid of the store. I had a good 10 years over there in that store. Good 10 years, man. But it's a shame the way it ended up, that I wound up losing everything. Lost the store, then I went across the street, and I got murdered over there, and across the street, nobody knew where I was. I'm in the alleyway. There's no heat in the place. I wasn't doing no business. I stayed there like 2 years. So let me give it a shot. Let me wait a little longer. Before you know it. So location is very important. You could have a store here and move across the street, and you're not going to do the same business. And I just got away from the shoes altogether. I came here. So Richard says, how about coming to my store, put your machines in there, and we work out a percentage. So that. I'm here like maybe it's going on 6 years. It works out good. I come when I feel like coming in. If I don't come in, I don't come in. You know what I mean? It don't bother me. Like, you got to come in, you this, that. And it works out fantastic for them. They're making a lot of money with me. I brought a lot of customers here too. This was a dead area. This was nothing here. Right. Now they got a piece of space here. They're making money. So it worked out good, mainly for them. But it worked out good for me too. You know what I mean, money-wise. My father had a good store. Yeah. Well, I learned the business, just staying in the store. There was a lot of shoemakers around him at the time. Like in that area, in that 5-block area, there was about 6 shoemakers. But we all did a good business. But as they're dying off, that's it. Nobody's taking up the trade anymore. Everybody was wearing shoes. Now people wear sneakers today. Between the throwaway shoes and the sneakers, killed our business, man. That's what hurt everything. Now if you had the population you got today, going back in them days, and they had just shoes and no sneakers, forget about it. You'd be swamped with waterfall. You couldn't handle it. There'd be so much work out there. I had some business, man, let me tell you. I had so much business, I had to put the shoes in the back of the store. I had to put them in boxes, certain days. It's just a dying business, man. It's just going under. The big fish eats the small fish, man. You know what I mean? That's just what it comes down to, man. But it's not like it used to be. That's every place. Not only Riot, it's every place, man. You just get pushed out of everything. You have a nice business, and it's a shame, really.
What can we do for you?
I have sort of an odd request, and I don't know if you can help me or not. I have some friends who have asked me to do an old 1960s style light show, sort of, and the way they do it is they use an overhead projector, light coming up from the bottom, and they drop like colored waters and oils and stuff in a dish and swirl it around in time with the music and project it on the wall. And they say that the best kind of dishes to use for this thing are convex clock faces, you know, the glass fronts on a clock. So I'm trying to see if I can find some old ones that I could...
You mean glass crystals?
Yeah, it could be
For
crystal or plastic, just so that it
plastic,
was clear. And
just
it's supposed to be sort of like...
like a bowl shape.
Yeah, not real extreme, just kind of flat, like, you know, sort of like this. On the
Flat or bowl shape, convex or concave?
Yeah, but not radical. You know, just sort of have a
You
small
have
scoop
some.
to it.
You have some bezels down. You have some crystals down there. Here's a whole box of glass. These things. You know the box under the. Oh, all the.
You have to clean them.
I'll be happy to clean them. Well, can I purchase these from you?
Yeah, $20 a piece.
No, wait a minute. What? How much?
20.
A piece?
Yeah.
Never mind, baloney. Give me $20 for the whole shooting, yes.
Well, we'd
Well, I
say,
won't argue
we'd
with
say,
that.
Well, I'd say $50 for the 4 of them. Can you argue with that?
$20.
It really, $50 is actually more than I wanted to spend. I mean,
$20. $20.
Well, we'd split for the difference, $30.
$30 is okay.
Oh, you.
This
you,
is what I've got to contend with.
She's
He works for nothing. Sometimes people say, well, you know, can we pay in buttons? We don't make $1 here. All he has is a few bucks in his pocket for these cheapskates that come in. But his priority is antique clocks. I've got one upstairs that's 17th century. It was going to dust. So
The chief of police, I have a nice clock. He said nobody can fix it in White Plains. So I said, okay, I buy your clock. Good, because I can't get it fixed. So it's inlay 1700 clock, you know, all beautiful inlay.
Yeah.
And I have Dutch Markendreet furniture, a lot of them, you know. So what's a little clock, you know?
Well, you know something? That clock is going. He fixed inside where it was all gone, the woodwork was all going to dust. And he fixed it with plastic wood, you know, and put the bezel in there. It never loses a minute. He got it gone. That was all hand done, the Dutch marquetry in Europe. That was sitting in the corner of a living room for years, not working. And he'd say to me, what do I want for Christmas? I say, I want that clock repaired. Christmas came and went. What do you want for your birthday? I want that clock repaired. Birthday came and went. One day he surprised me. He took the clock down here and worked on it. And he put it up and I thought, oh my goodness, the clock is gone. And, you know, they have these iron weights. What do you call them? Where are you gone? Where is he gone? Where are you gone? Where have you gone? No, I give up with Conrad. He'll stick to his own ways. Where has he disappeared to?
83 years old, you know. I've been here 55 years. This is a one-man operation. So I do what I can.
Flavor of the season is lemon pie and peach, Georgia peach. I try all the new flavors. We have lots of new flavors. Every year we come out with something new. The seasonal ones we change all year round. The ice cream's all made and distributed out of Port Chester. We carry a super premium product, so it's like the richest ice cream you can eat. All our sorbets and everything is all fresh fruit. It's all their own ingredients. The Longfords, the original, is Patricia and Nolan West. They started making ice cream in 1987, and they opened here in 1995. They have a whole factory. They still own the wholesale business. I started working here in high school, and I ran the place. I was their manager for 2 years. I went to college for a year, and then I bought the place in '99. The store's been here 10 years, so I've owned the store for about 7. I mean, I was young to do it on my own, so my father's a shareholder and took it from there. All my experience is from running the business, selling and all the marketing and all that stuff. When I was managing the place, I learned a lot on my own. I mean, I looked at the business differently at 20 than I do now. At 20, it was fun, it was new, it was exciting, it was a job. I didn't really see the job part of it because I did the same thing I did when I managed the place. So nothing felt any different. You know, I didn't change the name. You know, I've kept it Longfords. I want everything to stay the same. I kept the same staff. So I ran the place like just a routine, like I was taught. Then I started to learn more as it went on. More responsibility came with owning the place. That came with growing up. I would say that only took like a year though. By 22, I looked at it a lot differently. I was like, I'm stressed out at 22. And now I'm really stressed out. Thank you. You're welcome.
What's the matter, Miss Murphy?
You know what? Craziest thing happened. What? I drove the car to the dentist office in Mamaroneck. Car was fine. Started up in Mamaroneck to the car wash and I get this knocking again, knocking again, knocking again.
On the right front?
On the right front. Then I get it out of the car wash, and it's gone again.
Well, you know, on the top of the tower where the shock had gone through,
Yeah.
when I took the shock down, it had broken, so we welded it. Those have got no new bushings in it. It'll probably make noise for a while.
It'll stop and start like
No,
that.
it shouldn't stop and start, but it may make noise for a little while.
Well, now it's
I didn't
not.
see. Yeah, it's probably because it got wet,
Oh, okay.
but it's fine.
And it's gonna start again then.
Yeah, but
Right.
eventually, when that rubber seat's in there, it'll stop.
Oh, it will?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because it
All right.
actually, you know, those shocks were original in your car.
They what?
The back ones were changed.
Wow.
You did good for 1984.
You're right. I love the car. I don't think I'll part with it.
All right, you're welcome. It started off with my uncle and his other partner. My father came in as a worker, and 6 months later he made him a partner. They started right next door at the Citgo. And then from there they went over to the Texaco station, where they basically made most of their clientele through Rye over the years. They ended up losing the lease, and they bought this in 1971. I showed up here in 1983, and I bought them out. So then I built it up. My dad was basically a brake job, tire, water pump kind of guy. I went into a partnership with a friend of mine from Chevrolet. We did a lot of air conditioning, rebuilding of transmissions, rear ends, engines, heavy stuff. And then they used to farm everything to me. And then I used to do all of that. And then when I came here, we basically started doing all of that. You know, because it was kind of out of their league then. You know, just
Right.
it happens, I guess, in any business, even us. You know, if I don't stay up on top of this computers, read, it leaves you in the dust quickly. I got a body shop upstairs. I started that about 7, 8 years ago. No matter what they do with computers and electronics, everybody's still going to smash up cars. That's an upside, but the downside of that business is that 99% of it goes through insurance, and insurance companies, they pay us like $32 an hour or something. $32 an hour is not going to be good enough for a guy to bring home food and stuff, take care of the family. So what they'll do is they'll give you an extra 5 hours here, an extra 6 hours here. You know, you got to kind of wheel and deal with it. And then what we do a lot of dealer work. It's volume, and it keeps the guys busy, keeps money flowing. I got 9 guys here. I mean, I got to give them paychecks, you know, and it's every week between workman's comp and everything else. A lot of the guys are B guys. I got 3 A guys, but the rest of the guys are all B guys. The sad thing about it is a lot of them don't grow to be A guys. Well, the other end of that is too, if they did become an A guy, they'd usually have their own place. I always had Corvettes as a kid. I had bought it when I was 17. And then I started fixing it up. Then I started following some of this stuff like National Corvette Restoration Society. And then they started to teach you about it, you know, what was a fraud car and what was a real car. The cars that I like were these mid-year cars, you know, 63 to 67. Because I think those were the best, the body styles. They're basically extinct, the real ones. Some of the cars that come in here now are like phenomenal. They're just phenomenal. New BMWs, everything's electronic, nothing's mechanical anymore. There's 8 computers in that BMW, all different types. I mean, the automobile, we're becoming a dying breed, I'll tell you that. Years ago when my dad did it, it was all brawn. Not saying that the guys were dumb, that they didn't need, you know, they had to be mechanically inclined and be able to diagnose, but the diagnosis was pretty basic. But now, they're, you know, they're computer whizzes. They're smart kids. And, you know, just as well as I do, they sit behind the computer all day and make money. Right. They're not going to have to, you know, they don't want to have to work on a computer and do diagnostics, plus have to jack a car up and break the lug nuts loose, you know, and lift an engine out of the car, or get under the car and drop a transmission, get greasy and oily, and they don't want to know about it. Again, it's a dying breed, and I know it's a dying breed because I'm an owner, and I cannot get men. Cannot find good guys. And if I do find one, he wants your firstborn. And you know what? It's not worth it because they're making more money than you. You might as well go work for somebody. It's tough, but that's what it is. Right now, that's what it's all about. Well, you know what? It's a wealthy town, and it's very expensive to be here. This building cost me and my partner, I think it's close to $60,000 a year. Tax. You know, you pay a lot of tax. But the people that come in are generous people. We do. I go above and beyond. I try to anyway, to take care of everybody, you know, the best way we can. It used to be old rye. It's not like that anymore. Oh, it's definitely changed. It's all been taken over. When I first started, I have customers that owned a lot of buildings in town. I had Sal Caraccio, who still comes to me at the Rye Pharmacy. That was an old-time family store, and he owned it for years. Danny Rich, well, he's just sold everything. He just sold Mario Brothers last month. He didn't even sell the business. He sold the building. There's one woman down there. She owns like 9 of them now. 9 of the buildings, and they get astronomical rents. And if you go through town right now, and I know you see it, it's different every couple of years. All of a sudden you'll see 5 or 6 stores with signs in them for rent, for lease. And right now, that's what the town's going through. A lot of the businesses were handed down from people to people. The shoe store in town, that was a family business for years. That's going out. Like you got Henningsen Real Estate, that's still a family business. They're there. I could just name them all. And now, a lot of them are being taken over by chains. Because I'll tell you something right now. The guy's in that bagel shop. Back then, if it was 6, 7 years ago, and I may be even a little light on that number, they were paying $13,000 a month rent. You gotta sell a lot of bagels to clear that kind of money. I mean, I know here, and we do a lot of big stuff, I know what I have to clear to pay all these guys and make myself a decent living. I'm here in the morning at 6 o'clock, and I usually don't get home until 9. And that's 7 days a week. I come down on Sundays and I do paperwork, and I've been doing that here since 1983. People come down here, they say you're nuts. I may be nuts, but I have to do it. Because if you don't, here, with this kind of overhead, you're out. You just are. It's too expensive.
What am I supposed to do? Be a fool who sits alone waiting for you.
Well, Baskin Robbins was in Rye. We put them out for business. But now we have competition, Cold Stone. But they're not really a competition. I mean, we cater to families and kids, and we support all the school events, and we do all their Sunday bar parties for the classrooms at the end of the year. We sponsor the sports softball teams, Little League teams, holiday events in town, and all the school fairs and the library fairs. We attend everything. We donate to all of this cool stuff. And we work with the Rye Recreation and everything in town. So it's more of a community thing. Cold Stone's just a phase. They're a franchise, yes. We're independent contractors, but we franchise. Like I opened one in Larchmont 2 years ago with 2 partners. We keep ourselves involved. I plan on keeping the store for years, passing it on, hopefully. We're not going anywhere. We built up a nice business. Like I've been here, like I've watched these kids grow up. You know, I really haven't seen a kid that I've known as a young age work here yet, but soon. I mean, we'll still see them in the next few years, they'll be working here. They've watched me grow up. I used to scoop for them. I used to mop the floor in the same spot. It's hard to find good help. Kids that start here at $6, $7 an hour at 14, you increase their rates to keep them through college to $10, $12 an hour. and you want that help, but it's expensive and it adds up. But in the summer, you need the help that's been here longer. Service is important, especially in Rye. I mean, I'm not familiar with a lot of other towns, but Larchmont and Rye demand that attention. You know, they want you to know their kid's name. They want you to know what they like, and it's good that they all do. Everyone here gets involved. We're kind of picky. We explain that right in that this is not just a job. You have to get involved. You have to know, you know, don't just stand there. But then it balances out. We have a great time here. We have a fun time. I treat them with respect. They treat them with respect, and everyone's a happy family. And we do things together. We party together. And if we go even to an event, everyone enjoys going. It's not, oh, I have to work today. Some kids want to work 7 days a week, all day. Who, Taryn? Tara, 6 years, right? 6 years. She's 14. She was going into 9th grade. Now she's in her third year of college. She's currently the manager with another girl, Heather, that's the same age. They both go to the same college, and they're going to stay. They help me out. Without them, I'd go insane. If I opened another store, I would take one of them to be the manager. I'll never give up. I like to be aggressive. I like to work. The whole business thing is very interesting for me. I don't want to be cooped up in an office. Like, I like dealing with the retail. I like getting involved. I like knowing people. I find that to be an easier job than deadlines and papers and computers and stuff like that. So long term, it would work out because, how it is today, I don't see it being any different 20 years from now. I mean, of course, I'm going to see new faces and new people and work with new staff. That's not that easy to adjust to, but I feel like it'll be the same. Unless something happens with the wholesale, we bounce off each other. I mean, I sell their great products. So if they don't change their business, then my business won't change. Because changing the name to another ice cream can hurt long term. But if not, I plan to stay in Rye and stay in other communities for a long time. And I'll let you know when my next store opens.
The future, Kenny Apple. I was retired 20 years ago. But this is not hard work.
The market is great. We have a very loyal clientele that comes from the 5 boroughs. We have a lot of people who just come for the apples. We have a couple of customers who will come with their own box and buy 15 to 20 at a time.
Well, first of all, my red apples, caramel apples, are made with a good apple. I use Granny Smith's all summer.
Oh, really? The green one?
Yep.
Green, yeah, good apple. That's right. People love that kind of an apple. It's a good apple.
A tart apple, and a tart apple tastes very good with a
jelly
sweet exterior.
I'll make an apple for you. Okay.
Well, you see, here's the thing. Now you go to a supermarket. Every supermarket has a candy apple, package.
Prepackaged.
You don't
candy.
find that in the summer, in June, July, and August, because nobody makes it for anybody for those summer months, except people like me or the shore or up in Maine or someplace like that.
Right. My brother is in the business now. He sold his business after 20 years in Greenwich, and he came in this summer, and he knows how to do everything too. He knows how to make all the candy apples and the caramel and the fudge and everything. So he's like a younger version.
But come around the weekends, summertime. Around the summertime.
We actually had a young man come by many times this summer, and he is opening a candy apple kiosk right outside of Central Park. So he questioned us a lot about how we make it, where do we get supplies, and he would keep coming and looking at us making whatever, and so I wished him good luck. He should be opening sometime now on the west side of Central Park, so there's a market.
I've been here 55 years, so that's long enough.
so far I left it one time and I said I'm gonna leave it because they recommend it after they heat up, do it twice.
Oh yeah?
Straight 40, yeah.
So, what's a little clock, you know?
Well, you know something? That clock is going.
You got piggy bank yet?
Hmm?
Piggy bank? $5 one?
Not yet. No, it
All
hasn't
right.
come in yet.
Then no, I'm good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, George. Hey, how you doing? Good.
Are you a good lawyer?
Should we make a convention?
Thanks. How many of those you make a day?
Quite a lot. Today?
Yeah.
About 20.
Today, nothing. But come around the weekend,
Season's over.
summertime.
That's all? Yeah. It's $13.98. Thank you.